Nelson Mandela was sold to the world as some sort of godlike figure who ushered in liberal democracy in South Africa. And even today he is still well loved, mostly by people who know little to nothing about South Africa. Yet, on local soil and especially among the black youth of today, he is seen as the symbol of broken promises. In the midst of ongoing conflict brewing in communities in South Africa, who are mostly feeling threatened by mass immigration today, a political upheaval is occurring which very few people may have predicted. Young black South Africans are completely rejecting not only the current leadership of political parties such as the ANC, as well as the ANC's offshoots as the EFF and the MK party, and they stay away from voting altogether because they will never vote for a party like the DA, but what is more, they are now rejecting the legacy of Nelson Mandela altogether as the Rainbow Nation. Xenophobia is once again dominating the news headlines here in South Africa. This comes after a fresh wave of attacks on immigrants flared up across this country. This is such a pressing topic in the South African political landscape, and especially amongst black South Africans currently, that Cyril Ramaphosa even dedicated much of his official Freedom Day address on Monday to this particular topic. And Ramaphosa condemned xenophobia in no unclear terms, even suggesting that opposition to mass migration from other African nations north of our border would in and of itself boil down to a rejection of the entire struggle against apartheid, which of course brought the ANC into political power in the first place. And South Africa's head of state was not only the only major political figure who made his voice heard on this issue. The ongoing tension between black South Africans and black migrants from all over Africa also drew a very strong diplomatic reaction from Ghana, with this country's foreign minister Samuel Ablakwa even formally summoning South Africa's High Commissioner in the country, Thando Dalamba, to come and explain why this violence is happening towards their citizens on South African soil. The South African ambassador was reportedly told that Ghana demands urgent intervention from the South African government after a Ghanaian national was reportedly harassed in KwaZulu-Natal late last week. The ANC clearly views these reprimands from the Ghanaian officials and the foreign minister in a very serious light, as his South African counterpart, Ronald Lamola, in response absolutely just promised to crack down on anyone carrying out xenophobic attacks on Ghanaians specifically, saying that the intimidation or attack of foreigners has no place in South African constitutional democracy. But why is it that despite nearly 2 decades of repeated condemnation by almost every major ANC member and almost every major political party and every political leader in this country, xenophobic attacks in South Africa not only don't go away, but are by all the indications now even intensifying and escalating to unprecedented levels of black-on-black violence? Stay tuned, because in today's video we are going to expose a very real political divide between the governing elites of the ANC and its offshoot parties like the EFF and MK and the ordinary black citizens of this country, which could actually completely reshape the future of South Africa's political landscape as this divide grows and as the youth starts standing up against the ANC and its offshoots in more ways than just staying away from the polls to go vote. Of course, we know that these black youths do not vote for opposition parties like the Democratic Alliance, or actually any party for that matter. They just stay away and vote from the vote. But we might expect very soon that it will escalate to something else. But you might be wondering what all of this xenophobia has to do with the rejection of Nelson Mandela. So to put this into perspective, Ghana's recent reaction and condemnation of the ongoing xenophobia in South Africa isn't isolated by any means. Just last week, Nigeria's official diaspora body known as NIDCOM issued a warning to their own Nigerian citizens living in South Africa, urging them to try and avoid public spaces and public gatherings and even to shut down their businesses. This comes after multiple reports of violent attacks on Nigerians in South Africa over the past few weeks. On Sunday, the president of the Nigerian Citizens Association in South Africa reached out to the South African government to do more with regard to battling the rising tide of violence against their citizens. Many Nigerians likewise also took to social media, pointing out how Nelson Mandela, within mere weeks of being released from prison back in 1990, visited Nigeria, where he was welcomed as a true liberation hero.
The warm welcome I have received from the government and the people of Nigeria.
But, to the surprise of many, these appeals to Mandela's comments of appreciation towards the Nigerian government and the Nigerian people were rejected outright and unashamedly by thousands of black South Africans on social media. As one major black political influencer on X, Sizwe Sikamusi, who has a following of over 120,000 people on that platform alone, pointed out, so many people are still completely oblivious to the fact that most young South Africans, and when he says young South Africans, he means young black South Africans, now reject Nelson Mandela as a sellout and simply don't buy into what he describes as the 90s Western notion of a messiah who brought South Africa out of the dark. This is not an isolated notion among young black South Africans by any stretch of the imagination. And indeed, more and more influencers and public voices are coming out from the black community, especially the young black community, openly rejecting Mandela and his legacy.
Now, to many people, Nelson Mandela is a hero, the founding father of South Africa. This guy is celebrated across the world as the man who defeated apartheid, but to some, he was a complete sellout, a leader who gained his fame at the expense of his wife Winnie Mandela.
Why did Nelson Mandela sell out the Freedom Chant? When Nelson Mandela returned from prison, he got separated with Winnie Mandela and went to stay in a house of the rich white men.
This sentiment, which first originated with what used to be considered radicals like Julius Malema, and which was in the past associated with more fringe black political figures, is now definitely becoming the mainstream opinion of young black South Africans. And while we must of course keep in mind that there are a number of differing considerations among the masses of young black leaders and influencers in this country who now increasingly reject and distance themselves from the legacy of Nelson Mandela, what is undoubtedly evident from everything which has happened over the past week is that one thing which unites young black South Africans in their growing rejection of not only Mandela but also the ANC leadership under Ramaphosa is that they are fed up with this government's lack of border control and with the millions of migrants flooding into this country from up north. This issue, the issue of immigration into South Africa, is most definitely the most pressing issue for black South Africans, politically speaking, and especially for young black South Africans who directly compete with these migrants to get a job and just to make a living in general. But what is perhaps even more significant in the long run is the fact that they are also openly rejecting appeals from foreign nationals and foreign governments to Mandela as their moral compass. Mandela's own calls in 2008 to welcome refugees and to stop all forms of xenophobic violence have little to zero effect on young black South Africans who are unemployed, impoverished, politically disenfranchised, and who have little to no hope for the future of their family and of this country. And all of this signifies a highly decisive shift Black South Africans, especially young black South Africans, have now firmly put the Rainbow Nation ideal behind them, rejecting it. And not only that, but they are also increasingly rejecting the Pan-Africanism, or this ideology adhered to by political leaders representing the ANC and their daughter parties, which is basically the notion that all black people must stand together against the so-called white supremacy. The odd reality is that for young black South Africans, the historical memory of the struggle against apartheid and the memory of the euphoria surrounding Nelson Mandela in the past are clearly fading away fast. In fact, most of these influential political influencers and voices on social media that are making these comments were not even born yet when apartheid ended, were not even born yet when this euphoria happened in the late 90s and early 2000s of Nelson Mandela and the ANC and this new dawn of democracy, the first new dawn of democracy that came with Mandela. They were not even alive yet back then. So now all they see is this massive destruction that is happening in South Africa, where their economic futures are completely destroyed and they have no hope going forward. And obviously, the most significant aspect of society that they are blaming for all of this is the fact that immigrants are coming into this country en masse and at a very fast rate, and they see this as the source of many of their problems, and the ANC's inability to keep them out is the reason why they now reject the ANC and of course the legacy of Nelson Mandela. And what makes this shift so profound and what makes this so relevant for everyone watching this video like you and me, people who might not be part of this disenfranchised group that we are talking about here, people that do not know what is going on in the black areas with the fights with regards to immigration and so on, is that while the future cannot be known with any certainty, it certainly guarantees that our political future in South Africa will look vastly different from our past. And when these young black disenfranchised voters start going over to action, of course that would never be voting for the DA or any opposition party, because we have seen that they just stay away from voting, but they'll never vote for a party such as the DA, which they view as a white party. And this is of course also the reason why the DA has never gotten more than 4% of the black vote. But if they take their frustrations to another level and start taking action, we'll see a very different South Africa. In a recent video, we highlighted just how dire the situation that this country's youth now find themselves in is following 3 decades of the rule by the African National Congress. If you want to see this full analysis, you can click this link appearing right here to watch the video. And please do consider supporting our work by becoming a paying member of the Willem Petzer Group. Only with your investment are we able to pay our research team and continue producing videos like these every single day. Thanks for watching, goodbye, and God bless.